Do you feel emotionally drained or overwhelmed? If that's a yes, you might be facing the early warning signs of teacher burnout. Well, in today's video, we're going to take a closer look. So stay tuned. Hey, teacher friends, Michelle Holiday here. I'm a behavior strategist and I work with teachers, schools, districts, and student-based organizations to help them with strategies, tips, and systems for managing student behavior and cultivating positive learning environments. And in today's video, we're talking about the signs that may indicate that you are headed for teacher burnout. Now, I personally remember feeling what I call oh so crispy, and I was tired and I was frustrated and I was overwhelmed. And it came to a point to where I'm like, something has to change or I'm not gonna make it. And when I mean make it in this career, make it as a teacher, period, not just for the day. And I knew I had to make a clear decision. And it felt like it was either like me or them. And so I chose me. And by choosing me, I learned later that I actually chose them as well. And so today, I just want to take a closer look with you into the signs of teacher burnout. Now, this is not an exhaustive list that we're going to go through, but it is a general and decent list to kind of give you an idea. So first, let's talk about how do you even know if you are at or close to teacher burnout? The first thing I would say is to look at the clues of your life, because there are often physical, emotional, and mental signs that let you know that burnout is on the way. And here are a few. So, the first one we can look out is chronic fatigue or exhaustion. So, this is when you're always tired, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And oftentimes, what I found that is when weekends are not enough. Those even the weekend plus the Monday holiday break is not enough. And it's not enough for you to recover. It's not enough for you to recharge. You feel like you need more. You need more time. You need more space in your head. And so you're just always tired. So this is not a one day thing. This is not a 1 week thing. This has been happening for a while. Number two is an emotional detachment from your students or from your work. You used to really be passionate about this thing. You used to really care. You used to make intentional effort to make sure that certain things happen in your classroom. But now it's like, I don't even know if it's that you don't care, it's that you can't care because you just have so much that's missing, that's lacking. You're empty within, and you're tired on top of that. So even with your good students, it's a struggle to really make that intentional effort. Third thing, there is an increased irritability or frustration. So that means that it could look like you go from 0 to 60 super quick, especially when you didn't do it before, over things that you would have handled and could have handled easily or differently in earlier times of the school year. And so you're finding the little things upset you, the little things frustrate you, and that frustration and that irritability lasts much longer than it used to. It's really hard to shake things off now. Things are like sticking to you, and you're carrying it with you throughout the school day and throughout the school week. The next thing is if you have a difficulty focusing or making decisions. So trying to focus is just not happening. To make a decision, it just seems there's too much in front of that to even make a clear decision. And your brain is kind of fogged up, so to speak. There's a lot going on and it seems to not get better. And the last thing is that you're feeling ineffective or questioning your teacher purpose. So what you're doing is you're asking yourself the hard questions. Why am I here? Is it worth it? I remember, I think it was after year three where I'm like, you know what? I know I spent all this time, learning in education in school. I know I got this degree. I know I got this this money that I now owe. Like, was it worth it? Is it worth it? Am I even good at this? Have I even been called to do this? And so you're feeling very ineffective and you're questioning your why. Like, why am I here? And is it worth it? Now, if this is you, and I'm talking about repeatedly, week after week, month after month, you might be in burnout or you are facing burnout. But that's up to you to decide. So look at the clues of your life and see, am I in or facing burnout? And if your teaching environment, and a lot of our environments has that high stress, long hours, and constant demands on our time and our energy, there is a strategy that we can use for that. And for this video, we're going to keep it really simple. I just want to give you 3 simple strategies or ways to address early signs of burnout. And so this is not the entire list, but this is just to get you started. So number 1, take a break. So if that looks like a few minutes every day, if that means like a break during your lunchtime, and for anyone who's like, we don't get lunch, I'm telling you professionally, everybody gets lunch. Everybody. And so take a break during your lunch. I remember I would do something that I called a teacher stress walk, where I would walk around the school and people's like, oh, can I talk to you for a second? Not right now. Hey, do you have a moment? I do after the break or after I come back from this walk. And so I had to take a break and think on other things and meditate and listen to music. There was a whole bunch of things that I had to do during this break. For some of you, it's hard to take a break in the middle of the day, so you take a break right after. You know, there's definitely a season where I would, right after work, come in the door, get my daughter situated, and then I would lay down for 15 minutes while listening to quiet music before I had to start dinner. All right, so take a break. For some of you, that might be to take a day off from work. You may have to take a mental health day. And I've done that. I've had to take mental health days, or I felt like I'm not trying to play around, going to make it that day, or something really bad was going to happen, like a meltdown or something that day. So take a break. Number 2, talk to someone you trust for support and perspective. Talk it out. Don't keep it bottled in, because when you keep it bottled in, it shows up in other ways when you least expect it, and in ways that may get you in trouble. So talk to someone you trust, whether it's a fellow teacher, a mentor teacher, a trusted pastor or friend or therapist, someone, and talk it out to get a different perspective. Because sometimes when you're facing burnout, when you're exhausted and you're tired and you're irritable, your perspective might be off. And so you definitely want to do that. And then you want to reevaluate your workload. Look at your workload and look at all the things that you're doing. And some of it might be personal, some of it might be professional, but look at what you're doing and say, okay, what can I remove? What can I give someone else to do? And maybe you need to go to your team leader and say, okay, this is where my workload is. How do I navigate that? Right? And I personally have had to do that. So when we look at these 3 ways to help when we are sensing or we're in burnout, they can have a significant impact on reducing the stress, reducing what I call the crispiness, and allowing you some space and some time to breathe. And I'm telling you now, at least for me, it was a decision I had to make. I couldn't let others make it for me. You know, I couldn't wait for the school system to give me that break. I had to take it, because I knew if I didn't, I just didn't think I was going to make it. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling drained, if you feel like I'm in burnout or I'm heading that way, take a moment, take a break, talk to somebody, look at your workload, and then you may have to make some decisions. Now, let me just say, the decision I'm suggesting is not that you quit your job. The decision I'm suggesting is that you're like, okay, what can I do to increase self-care and rest and less stress into my daily life? That's the decision I made. I'm not telling anybody to quit their job, disclaimer. What I am saying is to take a moment and say some things have to change. And the decision is, what are they? And they could be a couple of small things. They could be some bigger things. I know for me, I had to come off some committees to make that change for me for a period of time. And so whatever that looks like for you, take some time, evaluate your life, because burnout does not have to be your now or your future. All right, that's it for today, teacher friends, and I will see you in the next video.